Order, order. Can I invite Chris Stevens to move the motion?
Thank you, Mr Davies. It's a pleasure to see you in the chair, and I wish to move the debate today on pension credit changes. Mr Davies, you'll be aware on the 14th of January it was a pivotal day because it was a meaningful vote in terms of Brexit. The government announced that day in a written statement that from the 15th of May 2019, both partners in the couple will need to have reached state pension age in order to claim pension credit or pension age housing benefit. Now, while this change has been on the statute books since 2012, the announcement was made quietly through a written ministerial statement on one of the busiest days in Parliament, just 4 months before it was due to come into effect. Full details of the impact have not yet been published, nor do we yet have detailed information about how it will operate in the wide range of circumstances that people may be in. So I think the first question that I have for the Minister is why this change, a proposed change, was made by a written statement and not a vote of the House. It does set, Mr Davies, a dangerous precedent, I believe, that changes that were put in the statute book 2 governments ago, 2 parliaments ago, in 2012, are now being made now via a written statement and not another vote in the House. Now, the government has said that currently 115,000 mixed-age couples are receiving pension credit and or housing benefit. Couples that claim after the 14th of May could be up to £7,000 worse off as compared to a couple claiming now, and I will come back to those figures and give some examples, Mr Davies. The Department of Work and Pensions estimates that in 2019-20, 15,000 mixed-age couples will be affected by this change. This rises to 30,000 in 2021 and 40,000 in the year 2021-2022. Now, whilst in theory the changes only apply to future claimants, it will also hit any pensioner in a mixed-age couple currently in receipt of pension credit whose claim is interrupted. And as Age UK, Age Scotland has pointed out, couples claiming in the future could be nearly £140 a week worse off than before the change. As I said earlier, an incredible £7,000 per year cut for some pensioners. This figure is noteworthy when taken into the context of 40% of people entitled to pension credit who do not claim for that pension credit, whether that's through lack of knowledge or accessibility issues. So I would like to ask the Minister today, what are the government doing to assist those to take up pension credit, given the alarming figure that 40% of people entitled to those pension credits do not claim for it? Now, Mr Davies, I did mention the figures provided by Age Scotland and Age UK, and they provided me with a figure for an average Glasgow South West constituent, 2 scenarios. The first scenario is based on a mixed-age couple renting a one-bedroom council tax band property C property, paying rents of £510 a month, receiving a state pension of £160 per week. Taking into consideration state pension, pension credit, housing benefit, the council tax reductions, the health vouchers, and including the cold weather payment, that would receive total benefits received per week of £395.46, total benefits received per month of £1,581.84, and total benefits received per year £19,097.08. The total annual state pension income would be £8,320. So the income lost, if no benefits were received and they only received some state pension, the loss would be £10,777.08. Now, Age Scotland and Age UK have also investigated how the same mixed-age couple would fare if they were to claim universal credit, a decisively less generous benefit and well documented in its difficulty to claim and sustain payments. In that scenario, based on a mixed-age couple renting a one-bed council tax band C property, paying that rent of £510 a month and receiving the state pension of £160 a week, and including the state pension, the universal credit payment, the housing benefit payment, a council tax reduction, health vouchers, and any cold weather payment would receive a total loss of that mixed-age couple of £6,751.24. As you can see, under the universal credit rules, rather than the current state pension credit situation, that would make a substantial a loss of income for older people, particularly those in low incomes. I would argue that that would be a devastating loss of income. It is vital that, in the first instance, we encourage everyone who would be eligible for pension credit to claim it. It is, I believe, Mr Davies, scandalous to think that people would be financially better off if they lived apart than if they lived together. So I hope I'll give way to my honourable friend.
Thank you very much. And our honourable friend congratulate him on bringing this debate, and he's making a very powerful speech. There's a lot of people who are reaching pension age that we are finding are struggling to be able to work, although they may not be able to access disability or sickness benefits because of their condition. Does he agree with me that this will, in particular, affect those couples, many of them WASPy women, who are unable to claim their state pension and will be unable, though in a couple, be unable to claim pension credit as well, so they'll be doubly dissatisfied?
I thank my honourable friend for that, and I believe she's absolutely correct. Particularly, I'm going to come to the 1950s born women and the double whammy affecting them. But in terms of those and benefits in low income, she makes an excellent point. And she'll be aware, because we've both just come from the DWP Select Committee, where we're discussing no DSS adverts in the private rented sector, that this could have devastating implications for them too, these changes. So I would ask the Minister if he accepts the calculations that have been put forward by Age UK and Age Scotland. And could he perhaps advise us if there's been any recent equality impact assessment since January's announcement? I understand there was an impact assessment back in 2012, but if the Minister could tell us if there has been an updated equality impact assessment in regards to these pension credit changes. Because in 2010, a woman aged 60 with a partner aged 65 would both be entitled to the state pension and both be considered pensioners for pension credit. But after the 15th of May 2019, they will have to wait an extra 6 years to be in this position. Now, these changes essentially impose a financial penalty on pensioners who have a younger partner, which is why, Mr Davies, some WASPy women in Glasgow refer to these changes as the toy boy tax, also known as the age gap tax. And the Joseph Rowntree Foundation is telling us that 1 in 6 pensioners in the UK already lives in poverty. This government policy would mean that many pensioners might find themselves in a position of being financially better off if they split up or live apart from their partner. And pensioners should not be in that position, as far as I'm concerned, that they would be better living alone. Now, the policy changes my honourable friend has outlined will adversely affect women born during the 1950s, precisely the group who have been impacted by other government decisions to raise the state pension age. Anyone hit by this double whammy will be entitled to feel especially aggrieved, and I can tell my honourable friend and the Minister that certainly the 1950s born women campaigners in my constituency do feel especially aggrieved with these changes and do regard them as a double whammy. And I think the public will be left with little faith in the government with their inability to deliver pension justice for women born in the 1950s. As the Women's Budget Group has stated, pension credit is the single most important poverty alleviation mechanism for older people that we have in this country. The government should make time for a new debate and a vote on these changes, given that the decision was taken 7 years ago, 2 parliaments ago, Mr Davies, and I think it is time that, rather than just enforce these changes, we should have another debate and a vote. The United Kingdom already has the lowest state pension in the developed world according to OECD figures, and this change will only increase those discrepancies. Indeed, the Joseph Rowntree Foundation's UK Poverty 2018 report highlighted that previous falls in pensioner poverty were in part due to the introduction of pension credit. Now, universal credit will not adequately meet the needs of a household at retirement age because of the strict conditionality requirements around seeking work, such as signing on at the job centre, qualifying as an unpaid carer, or proving they are unable to work. Changes should be immediately introduced to ensure that older people do not suffer as a result. And a very real concern we have, Mr Davies, is this policy change is then seen as a stealth tax on ageing couples on low incomes. Now, the Department of Work and Pensions has confirmed that it's expected to save almost £1.1 billion over the next 5 years due to these changes. And Tom McVeigh, Head of Policy at Hargreaves Lansdowne, has commented, the impact on individuals and their household spending will amount to hundreds or even thousands of pounds per year, and for some it would present real problems. The meagre savings the government will make due to this policy change will not match up to the disastrous consequences that will ensue because of this change. And if this change is not abandoned, it's anticipated there will be a consequential increase in demand for support from the Scottish Welfare Fund, for example, which provides crisis grants to families and people in Scotland on low incomes. Mr Davies, pensioners could face a real heavy financial penalty for having a younger partner. This could affect